begin our Hoon Dok Hae by offering one standing bow to our beloved true parents. 하나님과 축복을 저에게 앞에 윤배 바로 our most beloved heavenly parents, today, Wednesday, June the 10th, 2015, here at Washington Family Church, National Cathedral. We pray for the victory, success, and all the support of the good spiritual world to our true parents. And we pray for our true mother who is here on earth, our true father in heaven, and some of the true children who are there also in the spirit world, and here on this earth, the rest of the true children, true grandchildren, and all the members that are attending them. We pray for our elder sister, Sanjinin, and her husband, Isupnin, or the president and vice presidents of all the members of the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification. We pray for their safety always, good health, as well as their success in directing us and bringing us to greater heights. And we pray for the rest of the leaders there in the international headquarters, with the UPF chairman, Dr. Chang Shik-yan, and his family, and all the continental leaders too all over the world, especially here in the Caribbean and the North American continent, under Archbishop Ki-hun Kim and his family. And we pray as well for all the leaders all over the world, the presidents of all the Family Federation for World Peace, in their national headquarters, especially here in America, in New York, at 4 West 4th Street. We pray for Reverend Dr. Michael Malcolm, his wife Kumiko, and their children, and his staff. And we pray for vice presidents too, all over the world, especially also here, like Reverend Milton Stevens and his wife and children, and all the regions and districts all over the world, especially here in District 1. We pray for Reverend Ernest Patton and his wife Keiko Patton and the children, and all the pastors and several leaders all over the world, especially here in the Mid-Atlantic area. Reverend James Stewart of Filson Center, Reverend Akira Ota in Norfolk, Virginia, Father Adrian Bayan in Richmond, Virginia, and his wife Anna San, and here in the Beltway, Mrs. LeJune in Northern Virginia, Pastor Robert there in Maryland, and Reverend Mrs. Greg Jones and Reverend Jim Boothby, and here in Washington D.C. we pray for Archbishop Augustus Stallings, who is the chairman of the ACLC, the American Clergy and Leadership Conference, and our pastor, Reverend Zagery Oliver, and his wife, Fumi San, and all the members of the family of the Washington Family Church. We pray for each other's success, especially for those who are listening to us in the Hoon Dok Hae, and we pray for the blessing candidates for this month and the coming months. We pray that they keep their purity and attend many of your lectures, our Heavenly Parents. And we pray all of this in our names and in my name, Athanasius Francis C. Catalan, blessed single family. Jew, Jew, Jew. Good morning. We're now on page 260, 261, subtopic number 4, the changes of adolescence and the right time of marriage.
No, Reverend Francis, just on page 260 at the top.
261?
260,
260, okay. Okay. For whom are we to get married? We are to get married for the mutual benefit of all humankind. The husband is a man representing the whole world, and the wife is the woman representing the whole world. Then where is this to begin? It is to start from the place representing the whole world. Marriage is for God's will and is what all humankind publicly hopes for. The free love rampant in today's world is a trap which Satan made to cause men to fall and to make them unable to come closer to God. Once you are trapped, you can only die or be dominated by Satan. Western people of today, especially in the United States, are unable to form a true family because of the prevalence of free love. The number of people who have failed in their family is increasing, and the people who are unable to have a family are becoming dominant. I can definitely say with confidence that American society has become a hellish society, where love has dried up and where distrust, anxiety, and fear are dominant. You must know that you who are living in this age have the responsibility and duty to clean up this society and build one flowing with the love for which God hopes. Marriage is not for your own sake. If you have a self-centered marriage, your whole family will be destroyed. To want to live a happy life by getting married self-centeredly is just a one-night dream. The problem is your future. Unificationists of today should not stay still in this present situation, but should develop from now. You should bear offspring with the fortune of the nation and of the world. Marriage is what tries to find people who can create a new nation and new world. Until now, people of this world have said that they will marry for themselves. However, marriage in our Unification Church is a marriage for the sake of the nation and the world. Why do we get married? We get married for the sake of the nation. Why do we receive the blessing? We receive the blessing in order to disseminate it to the whole world. Korean law forbids marriages between people having the same last name and coming from the same ancestral background, and encourages marriages between people coming from different ancestral backgrounds. This is because Korean people are people who yearns for the unification of their country. If you look at the old style Korean marriage ceremony, you will notice that the bride and the bridegroom bow down to each other. Do you know why they bow down to each other? It is a pledge to live for the sake of each other. If you do not live for the sake of the other, love will go away. When a woman goes to live with her in-laws, one may think she is just going to a man because he was born as a woman. Another thinks she is going in order to save the country. And we're now on page 261. The reason for a woman to get married is not only in order to share happiness together with a man. It is not just to meet one man or for the sake of the family or for the happiness of one woman. Great is the woman who marries for the sake of the nation, thinking she is representing all the women in Korea. Do you understand what I mean? In the past, there was a woman named Masako who was the wife of the king Yang Chin. Masako came from Japan to Korea to get married. For what reason could she have come? Was it in order to love a Korean man? It was for the sake of the country. This kind of person is famous in history. This marriage was politically arranged in order to form a tie between Korea and Japan after liberation. This woman will remain in history as a sacrifice representing all Japanese women. Don't you think so? This woman's marriage is historical because the purpose of the marriage was large. Then, who in all heaven and earth tried to get married with the biggest purpose? It was Jesus. When Jesus came as a bridegroom looking for a bride, he wanted to get married for the sake of the world. He was the only person with that purpose. And now we're on topic number 4, the changes of adolescence and the right time of marriage. During our childhood, we desire only to grow up healthy. But when we reach adolescence, changes occur physically and mentally. Our interest in the opposite sex grows and we're attracted to good looks. Externally, we try to dress fashionably and concentrate on making our faces look more beautiful. We can tell if a girl has reached adolescence or not by the look of her lips. Girls will begin menstruating and their physical body will start to look different. Their hips grow bigger, breasts develop, lips grow red, and their eyes begin to have a mysterious glow. For what and whom do you think these physical changes occur? These physical changes occur to make a straight road go around in circles, to start a circular movement. Going straight cannot bring any harmony. When you go back and forth on a straight road, it will not bring any harmony, but only will destroy the environment. Everything must go around in order to preserve and bring harmony to the environment. Everything must go around for this reason, but we cannot go around by ourselves. We need to go around centering on our reciprocal partner, open and closed spouse. Coming together with our partner will start a circular movement automatically. This is the principle of heaven and earth. Therefore, physical changes occur in girls to enable them to meet their partner and go around. When two people are attracted to each other, there develops a power to make them go around. Therefore, the reason women dress up and wear makeup is not for their own sake, but for their partners. We're now on page 262. When a person is in full bloom, it is during your adulthood. This age is the 7-year period from the age of 18 to 25. This period of 7 years is the time when the flower of love blossoms the most. How precious is this once in a lifetime period when one is fully blooming. You all know the peony, open and closed magnolia, don't you? The bud of this flower has a different colored yellow flower inside. How many layers of petals does it have? The petals are all tightly wound together on the flower. Can you push them open? They are tightly coiled so that it cannot be easily opened up. Men and women are similar to this. When is your bud of love going to blossom? That time is when beauty is manifested to the greatest degree in the midst of harmony in the universe. This is the best time for people also. It is the masterpiece of God, and it is the period which shines as the very center of the best. Isn't it so? During the growth period, adolescence is when one becomes most beautiful. A person in adolescence is like the bud of the most beautiful flower. The person who can love adolescence the most can receive God's grace and can be invited to God's room. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Can you understand this kind of love? Then you are able to be like that now. If you have understood and you are a man, you should start preparing what is needed. Adolescence is when you feel as though you have become a prince of a whole country. Isn't it so? It is a period when you turn everything upside down, centered on yourself. Adolescence is a time when you talk back. So if you push yourself, you can easily go in a different direction. This is why juvenile delinquency has become a worldwide problem today. During adolescence, you cannot be happy unless everything you do is self-centered. You feel so proud when even a small thing gets involved centered on you. I saw a girl around 20 years old laugh without any reason. She would laugh, ha 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 ha, even though she saw a ripe persimmon drop from a tree during the autumn season after all the leaves have fallen. They can understand and feel things without knowing what it is they are feeling, because everything happens in relationships with her. She gets to have the best feeling. Therefore, adolescence is a point of conversation when one can be in touch with everything from uh, and form a relationship. Why is this? This is because of the original nature of creation, which seeks to unite man and woman 100% completely, centered on God's love. However, because of a mistake, this nature was dented, stepped on, broken like a crack in a beautiful bowl. Originally, man and woman have the nature to unite centered on God's love. God's love is unlimited. God's love powers all life on earth. If this love were inside all people, the world would be filled with holy people. Even in the most beautiful girl, adolescence only comes once. During that time, she is the most beautiful flower of all. It is the most precious time for her in her entire lifetime. So would a girl think, I want to live alone. Such a person is not a woman. And we're now on page 263. So continue reading. Does such an animal exist? And there was laughter. Also among men who look very good in the age around 16, would any of them say he wants to live alone? At this time, they all start to look for a reciprocal partner. Whom do they resemble that makes them this way? They are this way because they resemble God. Whom do they resemble that makes them this way? If God is not like this, how can his children be like this? It is because God is like that. During adolescence, which is the most precious time in one's life, the desire to seek a partner is the same in man and woman. Is it so or not? If you think it's not, go ahead and age and die alone. Try saying to a beautiful woman, beautiful women are said to be unfortunate. A beautiful person like you should age and die alone. Even a quiet, beautiful woman would really get mad. Nothing worse can be said to a person. This beautiful woman will have value only when there is a man who appreciates her completely and connects her to heavenly love. Therefore, is a person with an unstable emotion happy or unhappy? Grandmothers, please answer. They say she is unhappy. It is true. When is love linked? When does the power of love push us out? When man and woman reach adolescence and all their physical functions reach 100% perfection, everything comes to a halt. Everything becomes saturated. Movements always go through a saturation point. They come to a halt once and then they start moving again. Everything reaches a point of saturation and stops. The stage prior to becoming saturated is the period of adolescence. Adolescence is the period when all physical functions reach the stage of maturity. For example, it is similar to a balloon which is filled with air up to the point of bursting. It would burst if a little more air is put in. How wonderful would it be to be to burst after the completion of love. Similarly, when a person reaches the age of 18, he or she becomes stretched to the point just before bursting. Then they are able to start rotating so beautifully for eternity. When our spiritual and physical bodies completely unite, original love comes within us. Even in the fallen world, during the time of adolescence, man and woman can stand on a parallel line when our spiritual and physical selves harmonize. During adolescence, the cells of our spiritual and physical bodies joyfully greet everything with open doors. The human world during God-centered adolescence would be filled with joy and happiness. When new unmarried men and women during adolescence meet and talk, your hearts bounce, don't they? You become excited and a change starts occurring in your mind. However, if your mind does not center on God and comes to stand at the opposite side, it becomes evil. Your mind should be centered on whom? God. It is true love that can bring you up to a place where your God-centered heart and simjung can unite. Can you understand? Because human beings should live their whole life like this, men and women are to have ideals and hopes that are centered on love. So what makes you shine at the final stage is love. Love which is not conscientious is not love. You may not understand what I'm talking about now, but you will be able to understand once you get married. And now it's already 5:30. We're on top of the page on 264. You have more to read here until we reach education and marriage on subtopic number 5 on the next page. Uh, is there anyone who wants to share about the reading about the changes of adolescence and the right time of marriage, and for whom are we to get married? So earlier here, we read that we are to get married for mutual benefit of all humankind. So the husband is the man representing the whole world, and the wife is the woman representing the whole world. So when or where is this to begin? So it is to start from a place representing the whole world. So it's no other than marriage is for God's will and is what all humankind publicly hopes for. So it is in marriage where it starts. I'm just looking for. Yes. The free love is rampant in today's world. And it is also a trap which Satan made to cause men to fall and make them unable to come closer to God. So once you are trapped, you can only die or be dominated by Satan. So Western people of today, especially in the United States, are unable to form a true family because of the prevalence of free love. So this free love is like free sex. And as Father also shared to us before, they even have sex without even knowing their names. And after that, they ask, "What's your name?" You know. So it's so very evil and also now rampant that, when people meet, they were so in love that, or, you know, not love, but, in lust with each other, that they commit this kind of free love or free sex without knowing their names. And the number of people who have failed in their family life is increasing, meaning divorce. And of course, the people who are unable to have a family are becoming dominant. So again, because of individualism, they don't, form a family. And even in, your places of work, in any organizations, there's a lot of single people. And even if they're women, they might be single mothers. And our Father said, I can definitely say with confidence that American society has become a hellish society where love has dried up and where distrust, anxiety, and fear are dominant. So you must know that you who are living in this age have the responsibility and duty to clean up this society and build one flowing with, with love for which God hopes. So it's our responsibility to, teach these family values and encourage people to be, married. And there are many studies that if you're married, you live longer, and you have, not only emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual support, but you have, a person to live with that you can, share your dreams and fears, anxiety. If you cannot control it, most people they commit, all kinds of problems. So marriage is not for your own sake, as Father mentions here. If you have a self-centered marriage, your whole family will be destroyed. So if you want to have a happy family life, we need to, you know, have to live for the sake of the other. And he gave an example a while ago about in a Korean, old-style Korean ceremony, you will notice that the bride and bridegroom bow to each other. And do you know why they bow down to each other? It is because they pledge to live for the sake of each other. So if you do not live for the sake of others, love will go away. So naturally, you know. So he mentions also that if a woman goes to live with her in-laws, one is going, or she is going to meet her husband and her family, and because, of course, that he was born a woman, but another may think that she is going to save the country. So the reason for a woman to get married is not only in order to share happiness together with a man, it is not just to meet one man or for the sake of a family or the happiness of one woman, but great is the woman who marries for the sake of the nation. So he made a example of Masako, who is from Japan, and she was married to a king of Yangchin in Korea. So Masako, of course, came from Japan to Korea to get married. So for what reason? It's for the, you know, for the sake of her country. And this kind of person was famous in history, as Father mentioned. So was it in order to love a Korean man? It was for the sake of two countries. So this, woman will remain in history as a sacrifice representing all Japanese women. So that's for the topic that we read today. Anybody else who wants to share about the adolescence and the right time of marriage? So adolescence is the time where it bursts, so before 18. And adulthood or young adulthood, as Father mentioned, is from the age of 18 to 25. And that's the right time to get married when, But of course, the age of maturity here in this country is 21. And this period of 7 years is the time when the flower of love blossoms the most. And how precious is this once in a lifetime period when one is fully blooming. So he compares, this flower, peony or magnolia flower, that has a bud on this flower that is a different colored yellow flower inside, and there's a lot of petals. Almost you cannot just get it without taking out the petals. And when is your bud of love going to blossom? That time is when beauty is manifested to the greatest degree. So all people who have the ages of 18 to 25, that's the best time for people also, because it shows the masterpiece of God. And it's the period which shines as the very center and the best. So isn't it so? Father mentions, yeah. And as we know, if you learn about the divine principle, that's the growth period. Adolescence is when one becomes most beautiful. A person in adolescence is like the bud of the most beautiful flower. And the person who can love adolescence the most can receive God's grace and can be invited in God's room. So do you understand his, these things? So adolescence also, as he mentions, is when you feel as though you become a prince of the whole country. And it's a period when you turn everything upside down, and you know, I'm not surprised. Adolescence is a time when you talk back. So I have an adolescent boy. He's now, just suddenly just talking back. So I cannot help it because he's in adolescent stage. At 15, he's going to, to high school and sophomore. And of course, my daughter too is answering back always, because that's their start of, as we learn from here, that they become, you know, independent. And of course, also this is the time that there is, it means it's happening every day, is why juvenile delinquency has become a worldwide problem today. So during adolescence, you cannot be happy unless everything you do is self-centered. So they become aware about themselves. Yeah, they are so proud when even small things goes around or gets involved, centered on them. So anybody else wants to share about our reading today? Now it's already 5:43. Anyone? Okay, so if there's none, we will continue reading on page 264.
Oh, I had Reverend
Hello?
Oliver.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead, and I'll speak with them.
Okay. Reverend Ezra, have something to say.
No, I had Reverend Oliver.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's all rise and have a unison prayer. Our most beloved Heavenly Parents, we're so grateful for this reading today about the growth stage, adolescence, and the age of maturity and even the age of marriage. We pray that we can guide our children to learn more about true family values. And we pray for the success of the
Combining spiritual values and physical values.
second generation and even the third generation. All are blessing candidates for the first generation. We pray that they can always learn more about your will, your divine principle, and all the speeches and the 8 textbooks that you want us to read. We pray for the guidance also of all the people around the world with our true mother. And we pray that we can influence a lot of people as we award also these people who have done extraordinary deeds for their country and people, like giving them the Sanhak Peace Prize. We pray that as we also have read about Sungwa ceremonies for all great men who are also connected with reconciliation and peace, we pray that we can magnify to the world these things that our true Father and our true parents have done for this world, so that the world will be in peace. And we pray that peace and harmony will reign in this world as we guide more of the adolescents and people in young adulthood, and of course all the adults all over the world. We pray we can give them the blessing of Heavenly Parents, and we can be your instruments. We can give blessings to all our townmates, all our clan, and we pray also for the success of all the activities that we're doing here in this church and as a district and this world. We pray we can influence all these people now who are living in darkness and even having free love and free sex, and we pray that they can be brought to your presence, O Heavenly Parents. And we pray that we can be your instruments for this, and we pray that we can really do our best to do our duties to you as our God and true parents, and the nations we represent, and even the race and all the people that we represent, and even this church that we represent. And we pray all of this in all our names, and in my name, as the Master Francis C. Catalan, bless the Central family, Jew, Jew. Uri yesonen son, numero sonen son, imo sambacho soton, Ilio ora, ikio esanir tongil, inara chande tongil, tongil io so. Good morning to you, our true teachers, our true parents of all humankind here on heaven and on earth. Good morning to the true children, the true grandchildren, and all our brothers and sisters. Good morning.
And good morning to our Heavenly Parents.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Oliver. Good morning. Have a great and wonderful Wednesday. So it's witnessing day.
Yes.
So see all of you